hello. How's it going? Oh, Bobby Darwin Tyson have subscribed. I must have missed it. That's crazy. That is crazy. Got a bunch of followers offline. Shout out to Bobby Darwin Tyson for subscribing. Yo! You gotta, hey Bobby Darwin Tyson, head over to the Discord and make yourself known there and enjoy the little special corner you'll have for you'll have your own little sketchbook section with extra attention, extra amount of feedback, and so on. Hey Yatsuki, Hefez bro, Tormod Ixi. Oh yeah, throw those gang signs. The 30-minute warm up gangsters, maybe. I don't think so. Go away. Alright. So today, I was thinking, I was kind of scrambling on coming up with what to do, what to paint, and I was thinking, I'll just do a comfort zone. But I'll try something different. I will experiment a little bit. I will paint light but with colors at the same time. I'll try to kind of do everything at once. We'll see how that goes. Hefes bro, yeah, I will. I will do suggestions from the chat for sure. I just completed the ArtStation challenge, so I felt like um, let's relax a little bit before you know, just do some comfort zone stuff. But I will definitely start with the chat suggestion topics. And I don't remember. I was saying something yesterday that I would start the stream earlier to do something. But I don't remember what it was that I was supposed to do and why I should start the stream earlier. My brain is AFK. Hey Jacob Bobley. Eric Muy. Gria, what up, what up? Oh yeah, make a brush, there we go. Obviously, I screwed that up. Actually, I have, nah, I want to do that tomorrow. I'll make a note. Let's see, where are we here? Make a brush. Boom. Tomorrow. 30-minute warm-up emote brush. Or maybe a brush that 30-minute warm-up subscribers will get PM and they're free to use. maybe. Some unique, handmade, handcrafted brush from no other than Mr. Hurri. We'll see, man. Perks, yeah, there we go. All right, let's Hey Quentin, what up, yo? Let's start experimenting with technique here. Hey Tom Koo Art, welcome, man, welcome. It's fantastic to have you back. Thank you very much for the subscription. No, follow. So what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to do a portrait. That's way too blue. I'm gonna try to do a portrait, and at the same time paint with light, and at the same time use colors. We'll see how that goes. Obviously no reference used. for my own demise. Um, but I'll try to kind of do all at once as an experimentation. See how it goes. Hey, Millerfin. Hey, Millerfin. How's it going? Welcome, welcome. So, I'll try my very best to do something here with light and colors at the same time. Jacob Mobley. I don't I don't know if it's gonna be that very alla prima, but something in the lines of that. Yeah, at least attempting um, something more like more calculated than anything else, than just painting light, uh, and then after that add a color on top. Um, the reason why I thought I'd experiment with the comfort zone painting. I have itchy nose. Um, because because I'm feeling I'm getting to a point where it's very systematic, and I think one of the reasons why I'm starting to think about my process again is that I feel not that I'm stagnant, but I'm making it too easy for myself. Like there is no challenge in terms of the steps I'm taking, right? Hey, Bruno Romanos, the guy with the coolest name, most likely in the world. You must you must get girlfriends left and right if you're in that playing that game, uh, purely based on your name. If my name was Bruno Romanos, god damn it, I would be rolling in cash and women. But unfortunately, my name is just good old Bjorn. No Latin flavor there at all. This good old Nordic granite, and no Spanish tango. Hefes bro, yeah. I mean, Mullins is a great example of um, experimentation, and like I've said this before many times, um, but Mullins was there at this Sijun forum at the beginning of like concept art days, right? And he was also there experimenting until everyone was just like blown away by his skill set and started copying too much, and he got like scared of losing his kind of uniqueness, right? So he pulled all the tutorials and rants about color and stuff. There's some left, but there's no images left of his public thinking. Um, but it back then it was so much experimentation, and it was such a cool experience to be a part of. Obviously, at like those days, I was nowhere close to where I am today, and he was already super skilled. You know, he's already a very accomplished illustrator at that time. Um, so being able to see him experiment and all the other pros experiment, uh, and trying myself, that you know, throwing my 2 cents in the into it was such a fun experience, and you could see, whoa, you could see his you know, his mind of how he experiments, and it and I've always been a fan of that as well, and that's just something I've always done and love, you know, like testing things out, trying to break things, you know, hack the system, all that. Hey, what Amir? How's it going? How's the this is the end entry going? Bjorn. It's a cool name. Ah man. It's just because you don't know better. Oh man, what a shutdown. Oh man, sorry about that. Didn't mean to be so rude. Oh man. Oh man, yeah, of course, Bruno. In Spain, like Bruno Romanos is like everyday normal stuff. Like every guy left and right is called Bruno Romanos. Hey, Marici, welcome. Good morning. Gria, yeah, I mean, definitely, definitely. I mean, you don't want to match them 1 to 1, right? You don't want to steal too much, but if let's say let's go back in time, right? Sijun had maybe a couple of hundred active forum members and a bunch of lurkers. But the only part of the forum that was more or less alive was the speed painting thread, where everyone posted their speed paintings, right? And at the time, out of these couple of hundred active users, maybe three, well, maybe five, maximum 10, enjoyed the painting style of Craig Mullins, right? And some of those were Levi Peterfi. Um, Mia names. Peterfi. Yeah, there we go. No, go back 1 second. This guy. This guy. As you can see, clearly see, he's definitely inspired by Mullins, right? In his style. There's nothing wrong with it, and he's one of those that uh, you know him and being around the Craig Mullins at the time, that really triggered something. And this is not Levi. This is uh, Jama. So seeing that, makes things um, click, and you can see someone else push the envelope, someone else with a completely different skill set, and this kind of osmosis where they learn from each other and see each other and try to reverse engineer someone taking steps. But the downside to Craig Mullins was that when he started digital, he was already so fucking good, you know. So anyone observing his art, you know, definitely it wouldn't hurt being inspired by whatever Craig Mullins could do, right? Because his level was so. He's always been a great illustrator. I think he's worked in the movie industry for quite some time and illustration business. So they were the people at the forum when Craig Mullins started to post. That was like a door into the next level that they had never seen before, because no one was as skilled in it as him at the time. So obviously, a lot of people were borrowing his techniques a little bit too much because they were getting a little bit too close for comfort for Mr. Mullins. You know, I can understand him like shying away from sharing the process when there were too many copycats, and those copycats um, they were understanding the process because of their skill set, because of their level of knowledge, that they could just re reconfigure their application of their knowledge, and all of a sudden they could reach Mullins, um, not his to his level, but his style, to the point where they might start competing with his client base, and that scared him, and he got annoyed also that there were so many that were doing his style and not their own style. That it almost at that time, when it became a standard to do Craig Mullins like sketchy style, whatever. Hey Marici, it went fine. It went fine. It's all done on ArtStation. Um, I couldn't I worked till the deadline, and that's it. There it is, Marici, if you want to have a look. Yeah, so what Craig Mullins did was, you know, opened the door of knowledge to a lot of people who didn't understand that style of painting. That like digital old painting kind of way where you're playing with hues a lot and all these things. And a lot of people were surprised that you could do those things, and in the in the resolution he did, and all these things, right? It was unheard of at the time. More like he became the gold standard. So I can see him, you know, not really enjoying it. If everyone just blow their mind out and just want to be him constantly, it can be. I can definitely see it being infuriating. Oh yeah, Amir. Yeah, definitely. Let me show you guys. Where are we? General. Someone started. A guy called Carlos Garcia. He started modeling my Cletus concept. You know, so awesome. And here he's doing a call out sheet. But yeah, awesome. Really, really cool. Excited to see what he does with it. Gria. Well, the thing is like this. If you go look at what people chose to model, it's a huge, wide array of skill level and taste, right? And not the concept, but the 3D people. They can't do Some 3D people can't do super elaborate concepts because they don't have the skill set to, understand where to even begin in 3D. So there's a lot of artists, 3D artists. What did I do there? That they go for something simpler, but with style. And and that's why, for example, if you join the ArtStation competitions, you open the door for opportunity for someone to just go, oh, I like this one. It's a bit simple. I can do it, regardless of your skill level. As a concept artist, you need to remember that someone else will like do it as well in 3D, and it's easy to compare yourself with all these like super advanced concept artists. I mean, I do it every day. I look at someone else's art. I compare myself. But what you got to remember is that that's just a part of it. You should be proud of what you do as an artist, as a budding artist. You know, practice on inviting other people into your world, into your imagination, into your, like the window into you, right? That's something I always wanted to do, right? Was when I was learning art, I wanted to invite people into my stuff, right? Like one really good way of doing that is I was playing around with making tabletop games with my brother, creating worlds that way. So because when you were playing it, you experienced the limitations and the imagination and so on from us, right? So it's the same kind of way I've been always thinking about when doing art is like, okay, you're gonna observe something, and I want you to observe it in my the way I want you to. So I'm gonna try my best to hit all those technical aspects so that you'll just absorb my intentions. And that's really really hard as a beginner. But if you don't practice trying to to tell a story with your art and just doing the technical part, you're not practicing at the same time your storytelling abilities, because that's, if you're going to be a concept artist, that's what you're going to have to do. Tell a story with your concept because it's an idea. You have to communicate the idea of what you're designing, and that takes part in storytelling. And I'm not meaning like a guy sitting and doing a specific action. It could be subtle cues like, why is his skin so yellow? Could be a design decision or a specific shape of the head, or there's more things to tell in a story than just the actual narrative of what they're doing, the assumptions of what a narrative is. A story with words. Well, Jacob Mobley, the thing is, like, I don't think it's that much of a problem that they copied Jacob. They copied him, Jacob. But it's the whole like master and apprentice, right? There's a point where you have to stop copying the master when he has taught you enough for you to just go and do your own stuff, right? Or if, because if you would stay, you would just be more and more like the master, and you wouldn't progress yourself. Like you're actually being held back by your master, master and apprentice, not not evil overlord. Um, and there's definitely something to be said by having people you look up to and and imitating their choices until you reach a point where you don't need them. It's a very important part of learning something. That's why there is coaches. That's why there is all these things in sport and so on. It's not just by, oh, here's a ball, there's the room, go do shit, and then assume that they will become good basketball players. Yeah, yeah, invite into your maze, yeah. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the beauty of it. That's where a lot of modern modern new people in the industry fail. They think it's this one like shop mentality. Like they go and buy the knowledge of one artist, or like a package deal to get good. When when in that way you'll get really good in one way fast, but you're just gonna like have be one step or many steps behind the master, right? like let's say you go and buy Jama and you're a beginner and you monkey after Jama what he says, and he like pushes you through the door saying this is what you got to do, and you do it, and then you go, oh look, I'm really good now. But what you don't realize that knowledge that you've applied through the Gumroad or whatever is not in your mind yet. It's you have just taken step by step to monkey, monkey after, and that's the challenge, and that's why for example experimentation and testing things out and playing with process forces you to use the knowledge, and you'll very quickly notice where your knowledge is lacking and where your comfort zone is, for good and bad. I mean, obviously, experimentation and painting stuff for fun and practice, you really need to make sure you're having fun and you're being in the zone, right? You don't need to punish yourself in situations where you're experimenting with technique and so on. It's really important that you're painting and having fun and testing things out in a playful and safe environment. It sounds silly, but it's true. It's true. Because if you feel pressured to perform, or if you feel pressured to be in a specific way, you're going to be too scared to step outside of your comfort zone. So it's really important to test and accept that maybe this painting is not going to be the perfect one, but I'm going to push technique. I'm going to test things out. I'm going to deliberately trying to break something, do something out of my regular process. Like, okay, screw it. I'm going to take this part, do that, and then this, and then overlay or whatever, and see what, okay, now I get this, okay, so now what's gonna happen now, okay, I'm gonna, just experiment and see what happens, and I will guarantee you that through that process, you'll find some cool stuff. I will guarantee it. And silence, contemplation, silence. Mm. Silently nodding. There we go. I like that. That was way too orange. Something like that. Gria, yeah, absolutely. The CDC is really nice. That's really fun to follow. See everyone else's interpretations. I mean, yeah, a little bit like that. But it's about the human mind is so multifaceted that if you're just kind of shutting yourself into one track, one process, you're limiting yourself. When I think the human brain is like this multi-process organ, right? It can do so many things at the same time, but you will never know um, what it does, because it's a lot of autonomous things, right? It's storing information, it's thinking about situations, muscle memory, all these things. But you can only keep a thing active at time, at one time. You can't do multiple things consciously at the same time because you're focusing in on one action, but all the other actions are being stored at the same time. So that's why, for example, this process where I'm painting light and color at the same time, I wanted to challenge myself by trying to make it in like, this is my thought, of course, this has no science behind it, but into my conscious recall, right? So that instead of me just relying on painting the light first and then color, I'm going on autopilot. I'm now trying actively to make those decisions at the same time, consciously and not subconsciously. Which I think now is a damn time that I take that step, because I think a lot of it, of for example, I feel a little bit stagnant in my evolution, and I think a lot of it is where I'm at a point now where I need to do this, where I need to merge all the knowledge in more in one step. So like I talk about this in my character design course, the one that I'm it's not active anymore. But like the idea of breaking something down and taking it into steps and learning these steps in very like fundamental way, and you're never bridging the steps. You're separating them and learning this. You're learning that. You're learning this. Compartmentalizing them, and then the more you do them, the more you learn them. You can like take one step, one, two, and three together, smash, and then four, five, six together, smash, and then you only do step one and two, multiple times. I'm now at a point where I take all the steps, one, two, three, four, five, six, and smashing them together into just one step, and that step is a big leap, but I think it's time where I force myself to do it, because I feel like I'm stagnating, even though I'm not stagnating. I feel like there is not enough challenge anymore, and that's something I really gotta start focusing more on. More on. Mm. Eric Mui, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, I do. That's the purpose of doing a study the correct way, is that you're not trying to copy what you're seeing and making a copy of it, like a one-to-one copy, is understanding what you're doing, and understanding what you're observing, trying to break it down, trying to figure out why does it do that in the reference. And as you're painting it, not focusing on have I placed this information correctly in terms of placement. Because then you're worrying about placement. You're not worrying about what you're painting and why you're painting it. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with copying one to one and practicing that skill set. Making a straight up replication. But that can't be the only thing you do when you're doing studies. Study, you have to determine beforehand what you're studying and then study that, and not just I'm gonna do a study, aka carbon copy. Because that shit can keep you down subconsciously, keeping you from progressing and just thinking that you're good at it, but you're getting good at copying. And that skill set, having observational skill, is great. Don't get me wrong. It's really really important, but you have to practice all the other stuff as well. If you ask me, in my book. Eric Moo, yeah, absolutely. That's a good way of doing it. Like when I started teaching, many years ago, it was a challenge. Like, how do I explain this to someone? Do I actually know I'm trying to say? And you have to like dig deep and go like, okay, what am I trying to communicate? What am I supposed to teach here? You know, do I actually know what I'm talking about? And then you need to break it down, understand it yourself before you can teach it to someone else. And I think that's one of the good things about my teaching skills. I think if I can, if I can talk myself up, is the fact that I break everything down really, really in understandable chunks for someone else to figure out, and then they are able to apply it in their own way and not my way. Like I give them the principles rather than the answer, and let them, let them take the journey themselves. But that's just me. Hey, Ilar, the Ukrainian sensation. How's it going? Welcome to the very end of my um, stream. No more. Time to see who we can host. I think the result of today was a mixed bag. It's a good process, I think, to do for me. Definitely gonna be more of that kind of smashing steps together. Be more forcing myself to take decisions about color and saturation and light and values all in one. I think it's time to make those decisions, to speed up everything, to force my brain to think that way. Hungarian. Ah, shit, not Ukrainian. Sorry, the Hungarian. So you're in Vampire Land, right? That's Hungary, isn't it? Eric, yeah. I try to be educational as well. It's more fun that way. Um. Oh, he's kind of struggling. But let's go raid one D Tran. 1D Tran. He was kind of a cool guy. Some American, some America. Anyways, have a fantastic day. Oh, Romania. Oh shit, LR. I'm completely missing every point about you today, man. My apologies. There's no Prince Vlad. Vlad LR. All right, man. Merca. You guys are awesome. See you guys tomorrow morning. Let's go raid 1D Tran. Give him some love. He's a cool guy. Outro time. Bye bye.